Today your own life's a wreck. The powers that be just breathe on your neck. You get no respect, you get no relief. You gotta speak up and yell out your piece. So back off your rules, back off your jive. Sick of not living to stay alive. Leave me alone, not asking a lot. I don't wanna be controlled. It's all I want. 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 Yeah.
No one got a lot of sleep last night after what happened with Donald. The engines are petrified. Most of the survivors are losing it. I don't know how much longer we have. I miss my family back home. I still don't know if we're on our Sodor. The fact that there were two Percy and Sams is still confusing to me. I don't know how much longer we can stay here. Those things could be back at any moment. We were forced to leave the coal depot due to that engine showing up again. Toby stared right into his eyes, and we almost lost him. The engine kept asking us to join him, and I think he asked for help once. While escaping the coal depot, we saw an engine which had derailed with some trucks, and we were shocked to see it was Mia. She was surprisingly alive even though she was missing an eye, had a broken and detached jaw, and her face was brutally pummeled. She begged us in a soft, tired voice to help her. I talked with Sam and Bob and agreed there was nothing we could have done, so I walked over to Nia, pointed my gun and pulled the trigger. I immediately fell to my knees, regretting what I had done and full of remorse. The engines looked down at their buffers, saddened for their friends. In that moment of silence, we heard a whistle. We turned around, and we were shocked to see Ryan and James rounding the bend. They planned on bunkering down in the sheds at Knapford. They asked if we would join them, and we agreed. We're in the shed now, and I forgot how big it was, and while I was exploring, I saw something I still cannot believe. I entered one of the offices in Knapford, and was surprised to see two men in front of me. One looked to be Claire, Rebecca's driver, and the other was a man who I got was the Kildane station master. He had strange badges on him that read Sodor Empire. I noticed Claire looking up at the ceiling, and when I looked, I was shocked to see Thomas. His wheels and funnel seemed to have been torn off, and he was looking worryingly at the men. The Kildane station master called for another man to kill Thomas, and to make it look nice for the general, I didn't have a second to react as a large spike came down from the ceiling. Thomas screamed, and the spike shot towards his face. I looked away in horror, and when I looked back, Thomas, Claire, everything was gone. Bob entered and asked if I was okay and explained what I had seen, and he said the mist lets you see into other worlds, somewhere things don't go right. What a day for surprises. It seems we're not the only ones who aren't from this reality. It seems Ryan is also from a different world. In his world he came recently to the island, and while he was being chased down by the Percy of his world who was horribly mutated, a thick mist rolled in, and he found himself in this world along with his Percy. Luckily, he was sent down the Elstridge branch while his Percy continued down the main line. He eventually made his way to Thomas Branch, where he found James, who taught him how to survive this new world. Now we gotta figure out how to get everyone home. We were chosen to go out and look for food and other materials, so we're going to head out. Hopefully we'll be back soon. While looking for supplies, we found an engine that had crashed into the old barber shop at Crosby. We heard him calling for help, so we didn't hesitate to help. And it was Edward as well as Charlie and Sydney, Edward's crew, who were freaking out, asking Percy what happened and where we had been. He said he was heading back to his branch line after taking a goods train that was meant for us and was heading over Gordon's Hill. He heard screams and whistles with no source. By the time he pushed past, he felt some form of shock wave. As he went down the hill, he was shocked to see Nia at Wellsworth. Nia tried to tell him to run, but it was too late as an engine rammed into him, who on closer inspection was himself. He was shrouded in mist and proceeded to chase him until he crashed into the building. It was about to kill him when we shot past with brown vans, Annie and Clarabelle. From what Edward had described, Percy was trying to scream, but couldn't be due to the strands of skin holding his mouth shut. We couldn't believe it. This confirmed we were no longer on our Sodor, but a different one, and this was our Edward. We explained everything to him, and he couldn't believe it. We pulled him back to the base, and he was horrified at the sight of Toby now, knowing it was true. We questioned Edward more about home, and he said that a few days ago when we took our mail and slow train, we went missing, and Derek and Gordon had to do Percy's trains as well as their own. Percy then realized that if we and Edward were transported here, what if there were others? I mean, Edward claimed Percy shot past, but he is still normal. Perhaps the mist is leaking more realities than ours into this one. While explaining everything, Thomas looked ahead and saw a group of people heading towards us. We got everyone together and we're ready to fight, but soon I realized it was the people who stayed at the little station, and in front of them was me. I had a large scar along my face, long hair, and was unshaven. We both looked at each other for what felt like hours until he said that there is hope.